This is Ashkelon city. The city which is on the bank of sea was a target of Hamas rockets a few days ago, and the rocket that fell on the city, some of them also fell on this hospital. The hospital had two sections. One was the exterior section, and another major part of the hospital which was destroyed, that was the child care section, where smaller or younger kids used to stay. And that has been the situation since then, and even now the situation is not far from normal. We could see several people coming in, in ambulances. There are back-to-back vehicles bringing people who have been injured in several other parts. Today also, when we were having some walk around or meeting people in Ashkelon, we at least 4 times we saw a very intensive sound of sirens going off, and that said that one should rush immediately to a safer place, and the rockets were exploding in the sky, mostly because the counter-offensive from the Israeli side is very much on, and it tries to engage rockets while it is very much in the air. From the Ashkelon also, there has been a major counter-offensive that has been started. We were in Gaza also, about 2 kilometers from Gaza. There is a military establishment of Israeli side in Zuchimi, which has been launching multiple rounds of attack from the ground, that is from various type of cannons. We saw a huge, massive, amassing of armored vehicles, tanks, howitzer, which were lined up, and they were targeting Hamas location across the border, that is on the Gaza side. And this is how being the situation in Israel right now. Security challenges were there, but now it seems that the forces are trying to take control of the situation. While we also saw hundreds of people who have become reservists, who have drafted themselves in order to ensure the security challenges and other operations of civic amenities also that continues without any interruption or disruption. So this has been how the city has been taken care of. We're joined by Dr. Ron, who is a senior doctor in the hospital which came under attack from Hamas rockets. And he has some very horrible and very bad stories to tell us. If you could describe, Doctor, how the situation was when you reached the hospital.
Okay, let's start a few hours before I reached the hospital. I live in a rural community called Netiv Asara, which is the closest one to the border of Gaza. My house is 300 meters from the border of Gaza. We woke up Saturday morning to the sound of the alarm. We are used to the sound of the alarm. We went down to our basement where there is the sheltered room. My wife and my daughter and me, we went into the shelter room, and half an hour later we heard something that we never heard before. It is a light weapon shooting inside the village. Okay. We never hear gun shooting inside the village. We hear bombs, mortar shells, but never guns.
So that was kind of alarming, that bombs are okay, but the shooting means that there are infiltrators, there are people who have come into your village.
Absolutely right. And then we saw them through the window in our courtyard. We got scared to death. We closed all the windows and all the doors. We went into the shelter and we closed the door to the shelter, but the door can also be opened from the outside. And we started to pray. And we stayed there for about 6 to 7 hours until the Israeli army arrived.
Okay. And
During those 6 and 7 hours, we heard shouting, people screaming. We had no electricity, no water, and communication went back and forth. And from the bits of communication I succeeded to gather, I understood that many of my neighbors were killed.
So you have been living about 300 meters from Gaza.
Yes.
Your village came under attack.
Yes.
Dozens of people have been killed. Many more have been injured, I'm sure.
Yes.
I mean, it's an indescribable feeling. But still, if you could, let us know, will you be going that village again? Will you be feeling the same again, the kind of massacre that has happened in your village?
No doubt. We have many injured people that are being right now treated here in the hospital. Whenever I meet them, we have the same idea. We are going back to our village. We are going to rehabilitate our community. We have a wonderful community, a very good one of the best I can imagine. We are going to rebuild our houses. Most of our houses are destroyed. Some of them are burned to ashes by the Hamas people, with the people inside. They burn the houses with the people inside. But we have no doubt that we go back and rebuild and rehabilitate our community. It will be much more difficult.
Will it not be fearful? Will you not anticipate that anything of such kind happen again? You were not anticipating. Unassumingly, it started happening out of nowhere.
You're right.
You think it can happen again, and that kind of stuff scares you?
Of course it can happen again. I hope that the campaign that is in front of us will give an end to the Hamas people, not to the Palestinians. I have many Palestinian friends and colleagues. I want the Hamas people to be, the Hamas power to be ended. Of course it can happen again, but we'll have to rebuild our souls.
So Dr. Ron, since you are in this medical profession that is universally obliged to extend help and aid for whoever comes to your door. We are seeing siege of Gaza. There is a humanitarian crisis that is evolving on the other side of the border as well. People are in short supply of essential drugs, fuel, food. How do you describe the situation from Israel's point of view? Or as a doctor also?
I'm sorry to say, but at the moment, there are certain things that I cannot deal with.
Of course.
I cannot deal with the Palestinian sorrow now and the Palestinian suffering. I cannot deal even with my own suffering, and my own feelings. I cannot deal with what happened, and I don't have a clue of what is going to be. I have to concentrate all my energy now on treating the patients and the injured that are coming every hour to the emergency room. Still, the area is bombarded by rockets from Gaza. We have death every few hours. We have injured every hour. This is where I concentrate my energy, not about speculation of...
So for to tell you perspective, Dr. Ron was in India for almost 2 weeks and he's been in love for India, and it was his 10th visit. He was in Delhi for a few days, then he went to Badrinath also, then he went to Valley of Flowers. So clearly he was not anticipating that when he will come back just day after that, he will be seeing all the massacre, all the murders, and all inhuman or barbary situation that one can imagine. But Dr. Saab, after all this has happened, the Hamas rocket has also struck the hospital in Israel. This is one of the biggest hospitals, we are told, in Ashkelon.
It's the only hospital.
It's the only hospital.
Yes.
And it does. Whatever they do, whatever kind of they do, attacking a hospital and not sparing even the kids. I mean, it's something that is unheard of for any political voice that wants whatever their goal is to achieve.
Yeah. It's not the first time. This time, two parts of the hospital were hit and destroyed. One of them was a special institute that deals with children with special needs. It's the only institute for special needed children in the entire area. Okay. And it's being destroyed. I don't know when it will be rebuilt. and it's terrible. It's terrible. It's terrible when rockets hit civilians. It's terrible when rockets hit hospitals. It's impossible.
So Dr. Ron was talking to us, describing all that happened during those days and that time, ever since he has been treating all the patients possibly who are coming to this hospital. This hospital was also, it also came under attack. But apart from all the crisis or the geopolitics that we are talking, one would only hope that some good sense will prevail on the sides and they will stop violence, they will stop means of violence, and the peace will return to the villages, and probably Dr. Ron will be able to go back to his village and live as happily as he was living there.
Thank you.
Doctor.